It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Chicago. And it's 7 p.m. in the Big Apple, New York City. Hello, everybody. I'm Mad Dog the Scipio, joined as I am each and every week by the Pitbull herself, Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman. How are you, Amelia?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. We have a special show tonight.
Yes,
you ready
we
for this?
do. Yes.
Don't get too excited, though, because I know it's one of your favorites.
Oh my goodness,
You
it's
know-
thundering out here.
Is it?
Yes.
Those are the rock gods dropping hammer on you.
Right?
Yep. Tonight on What's the Buzz, America's Best Popcast, becoming Paul McCartney. And joining us in this endeavor is a veteran, a veteran of just 18 years of age. I feel so, oh my God, I feel so old. 18, this young man is, and he's already a vet of the
Yeah.
rock business. Scary thought, folks. But you know what? Philip Schaffrin did it right because he started when he was young, by God. Phil, welcome to the show. How you
Yes,
doing? Kid?
welcome to the show.
Doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Rock and rolling, man. You know that's my motto. Rock and roll. Just
Nice.
do it till you can't do it anymore. You know,
Absolutely.
go big or go
That's
home. Go
right.
balls to the walls. You know, that's how we roll around this joint. Yeah. So I found. Let me tell everybody why you're here tonight. Well, first of all, everybody knows if you watch the show, Amelia and I, particularly me, and I think she became a fan by proxy, to be honest with you, because she's not really a Beatles fan. Because I kind of like made her one. I'm a huge Beatles fan. I grew up with the Beatles. I saw them perform on the Ed Sullivan Show. Way back when, 1964. Way the hell back then. And I did too. I was 5 years old, 5.5 years old when the Beatles performed on Ed Sullivan. That's a scary thought. And I
Yeah, that's
remember, I still remember the songs they sang, for crying out loud. And just as a side note, by the way, if you ever want to see a great movie about that period of time, there's a movie called "I Want to Hold Your Hand" with Mary Jo Sperber and Eddie Deason. Eddie Deason was the other performer. Go on Google and you'll go on YouTube. It's probably on there. You can get it for free. It's called "I Want to Hold Your Hand." It's about how these kids crashed the Beatles hotel room. That's a
Oh,
pretty
wow.
cool movie. Oh yeah, pretty cool movie. We were actually supposed to have Eddie Deason on the show. Remember, Amelia?
Yes.
We were supposed to have him on the show, and one thing led to another, and they couldn't appear. Anyway, but we got. Who needs Eddie Deason? We got Phil Schaffrin here.
Yes, we do.
So, young man, you are 18 years of age. That's a tender age to be playing for, what, 5-6 years now?
Yep, just about 5 years.
5 years. I still want to smack you.
Don't do that. Don't listen to him, Philip.
So, how did you tell everybody kind of how this journey began? First of all, why the music business? What was it about music? And then tell us how things kind of like evolved.
So the music thing comes from mostly my dad and my mom a little bit too. Growing up, I have 7 older siblings, and
God
every
bless
single
you,
one of them play music.
7.
So
Holy jeez.
they either sing or play guitar, and I grew up around bands, and my dad's in a band too. So when I was about
What band is your father in?
right now, and he's in a couple bands. So we have a family band. It's called Clan Schaffrin and Friends Band, and he's in an originals band with his friend. They're called Open Sunday, and they play all around St. Louis.
Oh man, I got to have the whole family on then.
Oh yeah,
Brother, you just custom made a show for me. Do you realize that? You
You
just
hear that,
brought
Mom and
me.
Dad?
You just brought me and Amelia a show.
Mhm.
right. Yeah, they like to
Oh.
call it the real life Partridge Family.
Aw.
No, wait a minute. I'll go you one
Okay.
better. The Cowsills.
Oh yeah,
You know who they are?
heard of, yeah.
Mhm.
I like the fact that you have a broad taste that you know who the Cowsills are. Partridge Family. You was just you weren't even a gleam in your father's eye when the Partridge Family went off the air, let alone when they went on the air.
Right.
But I knew Danny Bonaducci too, so he played on the Partridge Family. I'm like all over the place, man. Did I mention I'm old, folks? So, so you grow up clearly in a very musical, very talented family. A lot of Beatles in the family.
Oh yeah, my dad listened to Beatles all the time. One of my first memories actually is we went on vacation and we were on the beach and he was listening to Twist and Shout on his radio. And I
Oh
think
man,
kind
that's
of where the
beautiful.
Beatles thing clicked in my brain. I was like, I love that. I love that music.
There's nothing better than laying on the beach, listening to "She Loves You," yeah, 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 "Twist and Shout," "Hard Day's Night," "Help."
Sure.
Pick a song, any song. Sergeant Pepper. It doesn't matter what era.
Exactly.
You know. So, you got bit by the beetle bug,
Oh yeah.
and so at what age did the beetle bug bite your hiney?
I would say about 4 or 5.
Oh, young, real young.
Young, yeah.
Oh, wow. Like you're talking like just out of diapers.
Right.
And you knew what that was? You knew what the Beatles were at 4 years old?
Oh yeah.
Boy, I'm going to grow up in your house when I come back. Jeez, man. I'm serious. I'd love to have that shit going on.
Yeah, it was great. And my sister that's closest age to me, she's just 4 years older than me. And she was in love with the Beatles and she had posters in her room and had the CDs at that point and was listening to them all the time.
Oh, God, sure. Absolutely. And then, let me guess. Just a wild guess. Her favorite is Paul.
I want to say so. That seems like something like would be your favorite. I'm not 100% sure. I don't remember that.
It has to, because all the girls loved Paul. He was the cute one. George was the quiet one. Ringo was the funny one. John was the serious one.
Oh yeah.
Little did they know that none of that is true. None of it's true. We'll talk about that later in the show. So you get bit at an early age by the music bug, and you just, hey, I got to follow this. So what was the first time you ever had a guitar or an instrument in your hand?
So when I turned 12, I believe it was my 12th birthday, my dad gave me one of his classical acoustic guitars. And by that point, I had been playing ukulele.
I really want to move into your house.
And I'd been learning a bunch of older songs. Like I liked a lot of Chuck Berry, of course, and started listening, being into the Beatles music. I started learning that on a ukulele. And then when I finally got my guitar, I was like, okay, I really want to dig into learning these George Harrison guitar licks and solos and stuff like that. And then just a little bit after that, I picked up the bass and got really into the Paul stuff.
Yeah, I tell you what, the music is, I want to say it's enticing, it's hypnotic, it's seductive.
For sure.
All the above. And there's just something so effortlessly timeless and classic about Beatles music. And it doesn't matter, as I said before, Phil, it doesn't matter what era we're talking about. It doesn't matter if it's the 60s with, the Meet the Beatles. It doesn't matter if it's, 65 with Revolver, 66, 67 with Sergeant Pepper, Abbey Road. Doesn't make any difference. John Purcell is here. Hey, John, thank you. Awesome show, he says. Terrific.
Oh. Awesome. Yeah, that's our Ringo. That's our Ringo.
Oh, is that Ringo?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Ringo's here. You know what? Ringo, stick around. Stick around because I'm going to bring your ass into this conversation. He's going to hang out there in the chat room. So, okay, cool. We got the Ringo with us. Cool. Very cool. So let's talk about this. So you're a young guy, 12. You got to finally get a guitar in your hand. By the way, just for the record, I became a drummer because of Ringo Starr back in 1966. Okay. It's a long time ago. Long time ago. Now I can't play the drums because years ago I had an accident and I can't use my hand anymore.
Oh, I'm
Not for
sorry to hear that.
drumming. I can use it for strumming, but not for drumming.
Right.
That's why I have a guitar and not a set of drums in my house.
Right.
So, you got this thing going now. You got this bug in your head, this music bug. And do you know what you're going to do with it yet? And at what point do you say, that's my direction?
By that point, I didn't really think about it when I was turning 13, and I actually was in a band with my dad. We started our family band, and we just kind of played at bars and some wineries. And it wasn't until I hit high school and I started getting into writing originals, I was thinking I would love to do this for the rest of my life as a career.
Yeah.
So every day I was looking for my next step. I was looking for a band, or I was looking for something online, and it was really hard at first. And it's really hard to find stuff, especially the area I'm in.
Mhm.
It's hit or miss. It's all about who you know. And I happened to meet Everett Dean just last year, actually, just about a year ago.
Right.
And I saw him playing and I thought it was really cool. We got to talking and then started playing with him because, I was always looking for something new, whatever's the next step that I could hit.
Sure, absolutely.
So,
yeah.
And after that, I was already enticed by the Beatles music, and he loved the Beatles just as much as I did, or even more. So we started our Beatles project, which was the Fab Lads. And we've been moving along with that, and that's been great. I mean, I love being Paul,
I have had the pleasure recently, Philip, of seeing the Fab Four perform in my area. They finally got to my area. That, and I have to say, I've heard a lot of Beatle tribute bands, a lot, including yours, which we're going to hear from tonight. You're going to hear kind of a mini concert tonight, folks. I'm going to let this music roll, and I'm not going to stop it till it's over. And because I want you to sit back and listen and enjoy, because I like these guys. Pretty good. I went to see the Fab Four, and I have to tell you something. Other than the Fab Four, the Fab Lads have the next closest thing to the Beatles stage persona. And I'm going to say that for the record.
Thank you so much.
You have the period pieces. You've got all the period pieces. You've got the music right. You got the right combination of people. Only one criticism. Tell John Lennon to get better hair. He needs a better wig.
Right.
That's it. That's the only criticism. But the sound is there. It's there. The sound is there. Because you're not going to find anybody that's going to duplicate the Beatles.
Right.
But the Fab Four, in my opinion, are as close to John, Paul, George, and Ringo as you're going to get.
Yeah,
and you guys are right behind them.
Thank you
You're
so much.
right behind them. Amelia.
Yes.
Questions for our young squire.
Oh, of course. I was watching some of your clips and everything, and I love how you guys have the wonderful energy on stage. Is there a certain song that everybody has you do an encore?
As an encore, what we like to do is everybody loves Hey Jude. So, of course, we have to do that, and it stretches out there at the end.
Oh, yeah. That's about 39-minute song.
And
by the way, just so you know, breaking news, everybody. Elvis is in the building. Elvis is in the building. Everett Dean is there. Everett, how are you, brother? You know what? We should have had the whole crew on.
Yeah,
we're going to do that.
We're going to do a part 2 with the whole band.
Well, Philip and I talked, and I'll tell you what we did. And
Chloe wanted to get into the picture here.
I'm glad John is here with us, and Everett is here, because we're going to have. Well, I guess I could tell everybody now, right, Philip?
Sure thing.
Philip and I talked about this. I said, let me do this first. Let me have you on first. I wanted to use Philip as a gateway drug into the Fab Lads, okay? And then I want to bring the rest of the crew on. I want to bring Everett Dean on, because don't forget, we have an Elvis show coming up too.
That's right, we do.
I haven't forgotten that. We got an Elvis show coming up.
Awesome.
And Everett, I love you, brother, but you got to get better John hair. I told
Yeah, something about that is when we started, we had a very minimal budget. So as far as that, we got all the suits and then we got all the guitars.
Philip, I'll buy him a wig, man.
I think he'd love that. Yeah, go ahead.
But and then John Purcell says thank you. Hey, brother, you don't have to thank me. You guys are good. So let's talk about this because we got a lot to cover tonight. To bring everybody up to speed, we have Philip Schaffrin as our guest. He is a bassist, keyboard. I'm sorry, he's a bassist and founding member of the Fab Lads. He plays Paul McCartney in the band. He is an amazing young guy at just 18 years of age. Grew up in a musical family and found out very young that this is what he wants to do with the rest of his life. And I'll tell you what, that kind of grit and determination. It would not surprise me. In fact, I'm going to make a prediction. You're going to hear the name Philip Schaffrin as a major player in the music business, and I think that's going to happen in the next 10 years. I believe that, and I think you're going to make it as an original artist. And don't be surprised.
Yes.
But country music has your name on it right now.
Right.
Okay. Ask Amelia. She knows when I make a prediction like this, it's pretty accurate.
Absolutely accurate. Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about. Oh, I'm sorry, Amelia. I interrupted you. I
No.
gotta let you. No,
No, you're good.
Oh, look, she got the doggy with her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she came on the show. She wanted to be on the show because when it comes to music, she just loves music too. But
Beautiful.
yeah, and I was wanted to say
question
thank
for
you
Phil.
to thank you for keeping up the music back, because music isn't like it is today. Back
Absolutely.
then, you can
For
actually
sure.
understand the words. Because Angela and I were talking about it on the last week's meeting that we
Mhm.
had. That that music isn't like it is today. And do you see yourself doing your own music later on as well? Have you written
Yeah,
songs?
I'd to do originals for sure. Building kind of more of a reputation in the music with the Beatles thing, and not only keep doing the Beatles thing, but also branch off and just work with whatever I like, whatever I find. Because I really, of course, the Beatles did this, the experimental side of music, just playing and making make something sound good.
Oh,
you know.
absolutely, yes.
Amelia,
Yes.
Elvis just spent $1,900 on a 70s wig.
Uh-oh.
Everett, where the hell are you going shopping at, brother? I want to take you with me to the bargain basement, man. We're going to do some shopping. 1,900 for, well, you know what? He's right though.
Yeah, they can be expensive.
Everett's right, because some of those Elvis wigs could get pricey,
Yes, they
and
do.
some of them jumpsuits could get very pricey.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
and heavy
Especially
too.
if you got like a lot of diamonds and sequins and shit on it.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
stuff ain't cheap.
Going
No.
for that. He's got
Yeah.
a great jumpsuit, it looks great. And then he's got that wig. I mean, it looks perfect.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, look, Philip, well, let me do this. We're going to jump out of here and do a commercial break, short break, and we'll be right back. Okay.
Sure thing.
All right. Take care.
Hey Max, what's going on? I'm X, and from this moment on, I'm going to be your own personal AI DJ on Spotify. Let's go. Up next, I know you've been on a summer song kick lately, so I went back for some of your old summertime favorites. See if it warms you up. Next up, some of the music you had on a lot back in 2018.
Do you think of me? Walking out there.
All right, Max, let's get you out of your feels and switch up the vibe. You've been into dance music lately. I got this brand new release to get you moving. Introducing DJ, the best of Spotify made just for you, one tap away. Powered by AI, delivered by me, your very own DJ.
Step
1, train the people only to consume. Step 2, infiltrate adults with the news. Step 3, indoctrinate the children through the schools and the music and the apps on the phones that they use. Step 4, separate the right from the left. Step 5, separate the white from the black. Step 6, separate the rich from the poor. Use religion and equality to separate them more. Step 7, fabricate a problem, made a lie. Step 8, put it on the news every night. Step 9, when people start to fight and divide, take control. This is called situational design.
It's back, America's Best Popcast. What's the buzz? I'm Mad Dog DeCipio. Tonight, a very special show, Becoming Paul McCartney. Joining me is the Pitbull, the mouth of the South herself, Amelia the Pitbull Chapman. And our special guest, this young squire, Philip Schaffrin, is Paul McCartney in the Fab Lads. And you're from St. Louis. That's a pretty nice area to be from for music. There's a lot of I don't know if you know, but a lot of notables came out of the St. Louis, the Missouri Delta area. The blues was basically born
Right.
in that area. People don't realize that blues music, big time blues music, was born there. So when did you realize that you had to do something about putting a band together, and who were your first initial crew members, band members, and are they still the same today?
So when I very first started, it was my family band, and then I was going to move forward from that. So with the Beatles thing, I didn't really do much in between, not much in band stuff in between that. With the Beatles thing, I met Everett Dean, and we started working on some stuff. And we put some ads out. We were looking for a couple people. It's kind of hard to find Beatle guys in this area. I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if it's what people know here, what they,
It's the hair, Philip. It's the hair. It's all about the hair, brother.
And I had asked my drummer in my family band, which is John Purcell, if he wanted to do it. And he was iffy about it at first. We do a bunch of Beatles stuff in that band. I know he likes it. It was just a matter of he was in a bunch of other bands and he didn't think he had much time for it. Right. So we kept, looking for people, and Everett and Dean and I we almost thought it wasn't going to work out, to be honest with you. But a quick thing of a miracle, John Purcell, he calls me up and we were talking about it. And I believe he talked to Everett beforehand and he was all in for it. Mm-hmm. So we had our drummer, and now we're just looking for our George. And a little bit after Everett and I started playing together, we got offered to do a Beatles festival in Prairie Town, Illinois is where it's at. And we did that. My brother Ryan played bass, and I just played guitar. We weren't in costume or anything, just as ourselves. And just so happens, there's a bunch of bands that day, and the guy who played after us, his name's Gavin O'Brien. And I saw a video of him. We left afterwards. I saw a video of him, and he sounds just like George Harrison. That's my first thought. It was like his vocals, perfect. Sounds just like George. So I
have a question right there for you.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, we're talking about a Beatles tribute band. What was more important, the vocal or the look? The physical resemblance to George or the vocal resemblance to George?
For me, a lot of it's the music, just because I like to dwell into getting the music right, just because a lot of people notice that. It's really tricky to, be like, this guy could look nothing like him, but he plays it perfectly. It just so happened that Gavin, he also, he has the brows, and he's got a good look to him. He's got good stage presence. That's another thing, the presence that they have on stage when they're playing. They're not just standing playing the song and then that's it. He was getting into it, enjoying himself.
Oh God, sure.
You can tell
that's very impressive that you say that. A lot of people, and I want to give you a heads up into my background. I did only 2 things in life, and they were both involving music. And I was a sound engineer, and I DJ'd for ages and ages. I was a sound recording engineer.
Awesome.
And I can tell you from a visual standpoint, if somebody has the sound you're looking for, the look doesn't matter because you can make them look like anybody you want. That's
sure.
what makeup will do.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad that you had enough sense of mind to go with your gut and your ear and say,
Right.
hey, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. This guy's got a great sound. Because
Right.
George especially, George has a very distinctive sound, and you can't just pull up the George Harrison lookalike book. Can I have a George, please?
Right.
Don't
Sure.
work that way. George had a very distinctive style and a look and a sound. So did, for that matter, so did John and Paul, but John and Paul were more of the everyday guys.
Right.
You know, even Ringo to some degree was just kind of like a regular guy.
Right.
Remember, he played with Rory Storm and the Hurricanes before the Beatles. And by the way, we're going to have Pete Best on the show.
No
We confirmed that Pete Best will be on the show.
Wow.
He was supposed to be with us before. Because I know the woman that used to own the Cavern Club.
Awesome.
She's
That's
a friend of mine. Yeah. And she's been on the show here. She and her father used to own the Cavern. And we've had a guy here, our friend Marcus Cahill. You want to talk about a John Lennon lookalike?
Yeah.
I got a guy for you. His name is Marcus Cahill. He played the Cavern Club more than the Beatles did. Over 521 times.
Gosh, I think I heard
straight up. I'm not making a word. You can check this out, folks.
Yes.
You can Google it yourself and check it out. Marcus Cahill played the Cavern Club 521 times, twice as many times as the Beatles, twice as long as the Beatles.
That's insane.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
So so you have this band, and Everett does your John and you're Paul, so you have a George. Who's your Ringo? Talk to me about
John is our Ringo, and we played in my family band together. And
okay, right.
Yeah, so we used to play a bunch of Beatles in my family band. My dad was into it, my brother was into it, so we did a bunch of stuff. And I just every time he'd play a Beatles song, it was like, that was perfect. I'd tell him, I'd look at him, I was like, I'd just be like, all right, that was really cool. And every drummer I've played with, they'll play a beat, they'll play either a surf beat or whatever, just jam them. But I've never heard anybody play the songs better than John. It was crazy. And I initially asked him, I was
There's only one better than John, and that's Ringo.
Pretty much. In my world, there's a lot of great shows, and a lot of them.
John do, if you impress me with this answer, I will bow to you, brother. Can John do the Ringo shuffle?
Yes.
He can do the shuffle?
Yeah. And I've also seen him do the left-handed rolls too, so that's great.
I'm not worthy, brother. Wow. No kidding. He can do the shuffle. Let me tell everybody, if you're looking for information on booking the Fab Lads, go to www.fablads.net. Everything you need is there. Their itinerary, their schedule, how to book them, where to book them. There's a contact, a contact email, and I believe there's a contact number as well. Right, Phil?
Yes, sir. And that number should be on the website. I don't have it on hand, but it's all there.
Okay, we'll just let them find it themselves, or go to fablads.net. That's where to find Philip and his the rest of the merry men of the fablads.net. Amelia, questions for Philip Schaffrin?
Yes. It also, I was looking at your page and everything, and also with the guys. What other instruments do you play besides the guitar, electric guitar?
I like to do a little bit of everything. My very first instrument before guitar, before I played ukulele, when I was really young, I liked to mess around on the piano because it was relatively easy for me. You got C on the other side, and it's just from there. And I play piano, and of course I sing, play bass, I play guitar, ukulele. I played saxophone before, then harmonica. I'd like to, if I could pick up an instrument, no matter what it is, I'd like to at least figure it out. Just
I
really-
like this kid. He's
I
not
know, right?
afraid.
Nope. He's like to pick it up.
You have no fear, brother. Let me tell you something. That would scare the hell out of most grown men. I'm serious. The unknown, not knowing what sound you're going to get out of any particular instrument, you may get a sound that you don't want to get. You know, you may get something happen you don't want to happen. But
I tell you what,
it's a scary thought, though, Amelia, isn't it?
not well. A lot of people love to play different instruments, and that's great because that way, in case somebody doesn't show up, he was able to play an instrument for, whatever sound that they need.
Absolutely.
And I tell you what, whenever I saw some of the clips of his shows, there's not anybody sitting down. Everybody is standing room. I mean, clapping.
Well, and
cheering.
that
It's
is one hell of a
fantastic.
segue.
Yes.
But before we go to that clip, let me just bring a couple of people in here. John Purcell. Okay, so they're just giving each other the thumbs up and
Yeah,
hearts.
mhm.
So let's take a look, and if the guys at YouTube Copyright are looking, look at this. There you go. Because I'm playing this kid's music because he's good, and I'm gonna plug him. God damn it!
Absolutely, yes.
We're going to take a little bit of a break right now to ask some questions, and we will watch much more of that concert. Or actually, that's just a promotional reel, I guess it is, right? Is it your promo reel?
Yeah, that's our
Beautiful. Well, we're going to let everybody just have fun with it tonight. Great music, and we're just going to jam out to it. Just stand up, and if you're at home, stand up and dance.
Yes. I mean,
If you're in your
hard
underwear,
to
go ahead
keep-
and dance around in your underwear.
It's hard for me to
Have
keep
fun.
sitting down.
Say again, Leo?
I said it's hard for me to keep sitting down here. I'm trying to get up, but I can't.
Yeah, I know, right? Is the dog still in your lap?
No, she left in there. She saw her.
Oh, okay. So, the Fab Lads, that you get the band together. The Fab Lads then become an organized band, right?
Yeah.
And so, obviously, there's always going to be that first gig. Something's going to go right. Something's going to go wrong, right?
Right.
Something
Sure.
always does, and especially on your first gig. What went right and what went wrong? Because everybody's got horror stories about their first gig.
So actually, what's really funny about that is that was our first gig. That video, that was our very first.
Oh, really?
Wow.
If you
That
watch
was your
close,
are you serious?
Yeah, that
We're
was our-
watching your
so-
first gig.
we had about, I think, 3 or 4 months to really prepare and practice for that. So we threw it together really quickly.
Are you?
And-
You got? Please tell me that you're breaking my chops here. For real? Are you serious?
No, that was our first. I believe that was January 7th, 23.
Wow.
That's nuts,
Thanks.
son.
And,
That's nuts. Are you serious?
Yeah.
And by the way, John Purcell was doing the Ringo Shuffle. I was watching him.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. That's your first gig as a band?
Yes, sir.
You sounded like you've been playing for years.
I sounded just like him, didn't he? Couldn't even tell the difference.
Are you kidding me? Where did you learn to channel Paul's voice?
It took so much practicing and really just watching a lot of videos. And I'm sure pretty much every Beatle guy will tell you that. Just videos, and really just honing in how can I make my voice do that? You know?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we all do that, especially.
Everett says, thanks for interviewing Philip on your show. John and I are in Cancun. Cancun?
Yeah.
You bastard, you went to Cancun without me? Are you shitting me?
I'm saying.
Next time, Everett, Papa goes with you. Nah, enjoy the sun and fun. He's a great kid, and we're going to have the whole band on. And
absolutely, yes.
Everett, you will be a guest on the show. We are going to bring you on for one of our Elvis shows.
Yes.
We're big Elvis fans around here. I met Elvis. So that's straight up. Okay, so no BS. Straight up. So
and then we're going to have mom and dad and the family on too.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to bring everybody on. Why the hell not?
Absolutely, yes. Yep.
So
I know exactly what
becoming Paul McCartney. So you found Paul's inner spirit somewhere. And at some point you had to open your mouth and say, okay, here goes nothing. When did you realize that you had it down?
So we used to do a bunch of bar shows with the band, my family band, and I just kind of sang the songs. I thought I sounded like me, but I had a lot of people tell me, like, oh, you sound just like Paul McCartney. I heard it a lot. And I kind of thought, I was like, no, I don't. I sound like me. But then when people started telling me that, I started thinking about it, and then I started really honing it in because, if people are telling me that, they must like it. So I really started honing. Okay, if you think I sound like him now, just wait until I practice sounding like him.
There are only a couple of people and I'm talking about professionals. There are only a couple of professionals that I know of who can really hone Paul's voice to that finite level. One of them is Artie Sarath.
Yeah.
And you know who Artie is, right?
Fab Four.
Amazing. He's one of the best. He's
great.
with the Fab Four, yeah. The other one might surprise you. He's a guy named Mike Miller. And not only does he sound like Paul, but he looks a lot like Paul, especially today's Paul.
Wow.
So if you don't know him, go up on Facebook and search out Mike Miller, Paul McCartney lookalike.
You have to look that up.
And he plays the left-handed bass. I want to talk to you about that.
Okay.
There are people who may say to you, Philip, you're not being authentic because Paul played a left-handed bass.
Right.
What do you say to those critics?
Oh, yeah. I've heard that for sure. And I've actually been working on that, surprisingly enough. One of my buddies, actually John's best friend, he's left-handed. And he's like, hey, if you're working on Paul stuff here, you can borrow my bass. So it's really hard. It's taking everything and then completely redoing it backwards.
Yeah.
But I've
Philip,
definitely.
Do you know who Dan Ely is?
I don't think I do know.
Okay, I'm going to introduce you to Dan Ely. I'm going to have him on when you guys come back.
Okay, cool.
Amelia, don't say a word. I'm going to tell this young man here. I'm going to call you the young squire.
Yes.
Dan Ely's a dear friend of mine. He met Paul. He gave Paul McCartney a Rickenbacker bass.
Oh, no kidding.
He gave Paul McCartney a Rickenbacker bass. And Paul gave it back to him. And Denny Lane wanted to keep it. And Paul said, no, you can't keep it. Give it back to the kid.
Right.
And of course, he was a kid back in 1974.
Right.
He's older than me now. But he's got a story to tell. I want you to listen to him because Paul not only played the left-handed bass, but he also played the right-handed bass. And here's what he would do. And I'll show you pictures of it. Paul would take a guitar. In fact, hold on a second. Let me show you something.
Yeah. It's a pretty good story too. So when you hear it, you'll be like, "What?" Yeah. So, and your mom, does she sing as well in the band as well, or does she just play an instrument?
My mom actually, she kind of just helps with management and booking sometimes. She doesn't do much playing. Or
I'm right-handed. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys talking?
I was just asking him a question about his mom. What he does with the band.
This is a right-handed guitar. What Paul would do, watch this. That's how easy this is. Paul would take it and just flip it over and play this way. He'd play from the first string to the sixth instead of from six down.
Playing upside down.
Yeah, he would play, and he'd play finger. He'd finger it. Yeah.
That's
finger
great.
the guitar, folks. That's what we're talking about. Fingering the guitar. Just because we have a lot of dirty minds out there, Philip.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep my guitar back here in case I need to demonstrate again. But yeah, I'm going to bring him on. I want you to meet him. He's a remarkable guy, fascinating guy.
Oh, yes.
I've been trying to get a guitar out of him, but he's a cheap bastard that doesn't part with nothing. He doesn't part with nothing. We are up against another commercial. Amelia.
Yes.
It's that time for your favorite spot. Philip, you're going to like this one. Watch this one, kid.
Oh, no.
Do you have sweaty balls or volleyball netty balls? It's time to make them ready balls. The Manscaped.com Lawnmower 3.0 will do the job and clean your knob with its patented no-nick head, so your head will function as desired. Enter promo code Wrestling Future for a generous 20% discount. That's enter Wrestling Future for a 20% discount. Manscaped.com and Wrestling with the Future, going balls to the walls with Manscaped.com and the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you, and so will we.
Jess wanted to start a business when something surprising happened.
Today I'm going to teach you how to crochet.
She started crocheting, like a lot, and her friends noticed.
Jess, you need to sell those.
So she signed up for Shopify and started building her business.
Yes, I love that.
And after a lot of hard work, this happened.
Oh my gosh, I just made my first sale!
You see, every day, hundreds of businesses get their first sale on Shopify.
We got a ding!
And the next could be you. So when you're ready to bring your idea to life
And become your own boss.
build it on Shopify.
What's the Buzz Podcast wants to welcome Radioactive FM 88.6 in Wellington, New Zealand, Radio Perth, Australia, and RTL Radio 102.5 in Milan, Italy. Welcome aboard, and welcome to the Buzz. What's the Buzz? America's Best Podcast is back. Tonight's show, Becoming Paul McCartney. I'm Mad Dog DeCipio, joined as I am every week. I try to get rid of her, Philip, but she keeps coming back. I don't know.
I have a secret room I come in through.
Coming back. I don't know if she's going underneath the building, around it, through it. I don't know how she's getting in there, but she comes. She's
See what I have to
comes
put
back
up
every
with
week.
every week.
And we are joined by Phil Schaffrin. Phil is a Paul McCartney in a. Let me get back. Let me back up. Phil is Paul McCartney in the Fab Lads, a tribute band to the Beatles. There you go. See, sometimes the dentures don't cooperate when you get to this age. And Phil is a bassist. He also writes original music, comes from a largely musical family. And I mean, everybody in his family plays something. I could come in and play the spoons. You don't have a spoon player yet, do you?
No, you're
going. Really? Oh man, I play the spoons. I'll play knives and forks for you. But let me tell everybody about this. Phil was part of the famed a group. Well, I'm telling you what, Millie, what'd you do to my teeth? Phil plays the part of famed Beatle Paul McCartney in the 5-man group, the Fab Lads. Amelia, stop! She's making me laugh. I'm trying to do this, and I'm looking at her laughing. You're making me laugh. Stop. We're live now. Come on. Stop.
Okay. Okay.
Hold on. I'll get it. Okay. Phil plays the part of famed Beatle Paul McCartney in the 5-man group the Fab Lads, currently performing in St. Louis and surrounding areas. Check your local paper or thefablads.net for more information. Thank you, Amelia, for letting me get through that one, for crying out loud. So, Phil is a bassist and a Beatle tribute artist. We're going to talk a little bit about what it was like to become Paul. Let me ask you a question. Was Paul your first choice, or did you want to play another character in the band?
So originally, since I joined Everdeen as a guitar player, he was wanting me to play George. And I wasn't against it. I love playing George parts and I could do it. Mm-hmm. But something just kind of itched at me. I was like, no, you should play Paul. So I told him, I was like, I think I'd, like to be Paul instead. And he's like, okay, that's fine. So I'm not sure why something.
I want to give a shout out, Phil, to Ashley Underwood, who's a synthesizer, plays keys and strings. They tell me that Ashley is the unsung hero of the FabLads.net for sure. And so, Ashley, if you're watching this, if you're out there, people are talking about you all over the world right now. And if they're not, they will be shortly. So what we're going to do, I promised everybody we're going to go back to this music, because I'm going to go back, and because I can't even believe that this is your first gig.
I know,
that's just nuts. They were so good. I want people to understand this. Okay, I want everybody to kind of like follow me on this, because it's important. This is the first performance of the FabLads.net. Okay, I'm sorry, that's FabLads.net. Of the Fab Lads as a group. Okay, I got net on the brain. And the first time they performed together in public, mind you, okay, the first time, they were so good the first time out, they made a promo reel to get you're laughing, but you know where I'm talking about, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
That's how good they are.
Yes.
That they're using their first gig as their promo reel. Do you know what kind of balls that takes? That takes big brass cojones, because they're that good, Yeah, but we're going to watch this. I'm going to listen to more of this music, because I like me some Beatles. So here you go, guys.
birthday.
Thanks.
I wanted to ask you about that because it seemed like an incomplete show. And if you're a Beatles fan, you know why. So what's missing? You tell me.
I'm not quite sure.
There's one era that's missing. Sergeant Pepper.
Oh, yes. So that first show, we didn't do Sgt. Pepper. But after that show, because our budget, we couldn't get the costumes or the right guitars. So we made a little money off of that show. And then the next show that we did,
you bet your ass you did.
Did you see that? Everybody's standing room only at the end. Fantastic.
Yep.
got the costumes, and then we started working on the music, and then we were ready to go by the next show.
I was going to say, because I watched that and I'm thinking to myself, man, these guys, they did really, really well, but they missed one of the most critical periods in Beatles history was the Pepper days.
Right, absolutely.
You know? Although I will say this, you went right from the shirt and vest, you know, because Paul got he took to wearing a t-shirt and a vest for a while.
Right.
You know, the black vest you had on. And that was around, I want to say, around maybe the Abbey Road days, probably somewhere around there. So you bypassed Pepper and you went right to Abbey Road.
Pretty much.
Is that basically because of the budget?
Yeah.
Okay. So
And
now you have the show now that you're traveling with. You have now of course the Meet the Beatles, which is the early days.
Right.
You've got the Revolver era. You've got Sgt. Pepper, and you've got Abbey Road. See, and people that follow the Beatles, those are the four main areas because they were still performing and touring to some degree. They were doing concerts, let's put it that way. They were no longer touring, but they were still doing shows.
For sure.
The most famous being the Rooftop Concert. And they broke up right after that. In fact, that was the very last show they ever did. Right. Then they went to separate ways. So at this point now, you have a full show, or you're still working on it, Phil?
For right now, we like to add more songs every now and then just to make it a different show for the people that see us multiple times. Sure. So same eras though, and we like to kind of mix the Revolver. Like Rubber Soul kind of is on the last cutoff of the early Beatles stuff.
Yeah.
We get into Revolver, we'll put that in with like the Pepper suits.
Yeah.
Just because for the amount of time we have for a show, we only have two costumes, including the suits as before the costume change.
Can I show you something pretty cool?
Sure.
Amelia, keep our young man busy. I'm going to go get my book. I'm going to go get the book.
The book.
You know the book.
And your family, what are they going to be traveling as well pretty soon? You guys as a family doing some shows?
We kind of like to keep that local. We don't play very many big shows with that. Maybe once a year we'll do like a festival with that.
Or like the fair and things like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. Just for,
I got the book.
You know.
I like that. That's pretty fun. I like doing the fairs.
I want to show you something, young man. Okay?
Sure.
I want to show you how deep I'm into this crap, okay? See the book? Amelia and I have two friends that wrote this book.
Awesome.
Our friend Mary Ann Howard and Ann Walsh. It's called The Shadow of a Bassman. That's book number 1. This is book number 2. You see how thick this book is?
Right.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Watch this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
And
you ready for this? There's 2 more books in the works.
2 more.
Let me tell you what this book is about. I'm going to throw a little curveball in this interview.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
I did the foreword for those books. I wrote the foreword.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to show you. I want to show you the foreword. Yep. And so it was important when I wrote this foreword to mention, here you go. There it is. Hot damn. There it is. There's my name down there, Angelo Recipio.
Cool.
So, when they came to me and asked me to write the foreword, I did so. Let me tell you what the book is about, and I want to get your opinion on this.
Sure.
This is the first 2 in a 4-book series. Okay.
Okay.
It's about the death and replacement of Paul McCartney. Are you familiar with that story, the rumor?
Yeah.
Some people believe that he actually died in 1966 and that the guy playing Paul now is William Shepard.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I want to get your opinion on that because upon occasion, if you yell out William, he'll turn around and talk to you.
Oh, man. That's weird.
And I have it on film, by the way. On tape. I'm sorry. Yeah, I have it. Yeah. So what do you think? What says Philip to this crazy rumor? By the way, the rumor is 60 years old almost.
Yeah.
Right.
59 years old this year, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I've never I kind of thought about it before just getting into when I first heard about it. I was like, oh, that's crazy. So I watched some videos and read some stuff up about it. And I'm not too sure I believe that it's true. But one thing I did take from it, I saw this the other day actually on somewhere online, and it said if Paul did die, the guy that replaced him wrote better songs. When he died.
And everybody agrees. Everybody agrees. Here's the funny thing. The guy who was the publisher of the Beatles magazine back in 1963.
Yeah.
What do you think his name was?
It was the same
William
guy.
Shepard. William Shepard. Yeah. I'll give you something else to think about. They had a Paul McCartney lookalike contest in 1964.
Right.
In 64. Okay. Think about the year. They say he died in 66. This is 2 years before that, 1964. They had a Paul McCartney lookalike contest. Who do you think won that contest?
I'm sure it's
a guy named William Shepard. I can't make this up.
That's crazy.
Phil, I'm telling you, brother, I'm not making a word of this up. So,
I'm gonna have to look
I just figured I'd throw a little curveball into that just to kind of give you something to think about.
Yeah, that's
so
nuts.
Amelia, questions for the young squire.
Yeah. What?
Oh, she's serious. She's putting her glasses on.
I had to clean them up a little bit.
Putting her glasses on for that one, Phil.
What do you guys have coming up as far as shows?
So our next show is going to be at I wrote it down here, August 4th. If anybody's in the St. Peter's area, it's a little bit of ways from St. Louis. It's called Diamond Music Hall, and that's going to be an Elvis Meets the Beatles show. I believe we're playing around 7. I believe is when we start. And
Fantastic.
Some more
August 4th, I hear.
Yeah, that's our next big show.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Are you guys prepared to travel at this point? One of the big things that every band has to do now to get their name out there is, like it or not, you got to hit the road at some point, right?
Sure. And we did a show in Chicago not too long ago. I believe also in March. We played at a place called the Brower House. We did the Elvis Meets show up there, and would be great. It's just a matter of booking, and we've been kind of trying to build our performance up a little bit better before we really hit the road, and trying to get a crew together as well.
Brother, I have a surprise for you after the show that even Amelia doesn't know about.
Oh man,
I am going to. I have been. Amelia will tell you, and people who watch this show will tell you, when I like somebody, I troll them. I'm like how do you want to say it? I'm like the creepy uncle that is just lurking in the.
He's the TikTok version of our show.
But I'm the nice creepy uncle though, because I'm the uncle that bears nice gifts for people.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I
And
have
they're
a
fantastic
surprise
gifts,
for
too.
you. after the show, I'm going to give you a name and a phone number.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's great.
Amelia, questions? Go ahead.
No,
Question.
I was thinking that I was asking him about what he has coming up, and as well, I'm glad that he's going to be touring and everything. And any of your family going to be coming with you as well, on the shows?
Brother Ryan, he plays bass in the family band. He's our sound engineer, and also he helps with the gear. And because the reason why we need a sound engineer is because the Beatles sounds so specific. It's you can't top it.
That prompted a question. Boy, did you prompt the question. Do you guys use auto-tune?
No auto-tune, no pre-recorded, all live. Completely.
Bravo. I hate auto-tune because auto-tune is cheating.
It
is
cheating.
You might as well not be playing.
No,
exactly.
Yeah, it's like an AI.
Let me tell you who's using auto-tune. Britney Spears, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Cher, Rihanna. Who else? Motley Crue.
Exactly.
Oh shit.
A lot of the newer.
This point.
Yeah. Even guess what? Even Kiss. Auto-tune. Okay. And if you listen,
Lady Gaga
if you listen to Paul Stanley's voice, you'll understand why.
Right.
Because Paul can't do it anymore.
Right.
And he just can't. He's 73 years old. He just can't hit those notes anymore. I'm sorry, Paul. I love you. You're a great musician, but you just can't sing anymore, babe.
Right.
But so they cheat. They use auto-tune.
I think
that's cheating. The
Yeah.
auto-tune took away. Look, years ago, you're too young to remember, but I'm sure you've heard stories about him. There was a group called Milli Vanilli.
Oh, yes.
Okay. These guys completely and utterly faked. They lip synced on. Amelia.
No, they did.
They lip synced on stage. Write that down, Milli Vanilli.
Yes, they had other people's voices, and they used them as the people for the band because the actual singers weren't that good looking. So they used them as the good looking guys, but other people's voices.
Yep, they put the good looking guys out front, and they had the people in the backstage, doing the singing. The guys the good looking guys out front were mimicking. Layla Schmidt is here. I love Layla. How you doing, Layla?
Hi, Layla.
When you have, here you go, Layla's. She's got something for you.
A request.
When you have the whole band on, I want to hear them play songs that they wrote themselves. Okay, we can do that.
Got a request.
Why don't we put a show together? We will have the band join us and play original stuff. How about that? You up for that?
Sure, that'd be cool.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We love presenting new music, by the way.
Absolutely, yes.
We love we have who one of our favorite people is Brock Davis is one of our favorite people. He sang for us here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have him coming back very soon.
Yeah, Marcus Cahill sang for us here.
That's cool.
We've had country music Hall of Famer Lacey J. Dalton and country recording artist Sylvia was here performing. It's a little bit of performing, not a lot. But we've had a lot of people come through here. A lot of people.
That's
and
awesome.
we love entertainment. We love music. And I will give you a platform and I'll give you a stage to play your music on, young man.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Look, it's absolutely. I got to take care of you. Look, you are the future. You and your band are the future of the music business. So, we have to do us old farts have to do our part to keep the music alive.
Yes.
Look at these guys now. Guys like I'll give you a perfect example. Everett Dean. He's in his mid-30s, maybe, right?
Right.
Okay. But Everett has been around a little bit. Doing Elvis. Elvis died before Everett was born. You understand where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
It's the next generation that has to carry on that.
For sure.
The next generation has to remember there were the Beatles and the Monkees and Elvis and Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack and Dean and Sammy, you know?
Right.
They have to,
as well as trying to keep that alive for people,
Yes.
even generations after, people my age.
absolutely.
When I was younger, I had an Elvis poster on my wall, and I was like 4 or 5 years old when he passed away, and I had Elvis. I did, and I passed it on to my kids and so forth. And
I do a pretty good Sinatra. I do a good Sinatra, and I do a great Wolfman Jack.
Yes, you do.
That's cool.
Yes, it does.
Me. But yeah, so if you ever put a Rat Pack show together, I'm your guy.
Awesome,
yeah, for sure. Amelia.
Yes.
Final questions. Final questions. We sure do. Final questions for Phil, and then tell everybody what's coming up. We're at 8:04 right now. How about,
right?
How about? Am I good, Philip? I said 8:05, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
How good am I, kid? Go ahead, Neil.
What's your favorite song performing of the whole show?
The whole show, I really like doing. I saw her standing there. It's classic. It gets people doing the oohs, and it gets people clapping and singing and dancing. It's just really fun. Really fun song.
That's a great song. Yes, absolutely. Angela, do you have a final question as well?
Yeah. But my favorite Beatles song, hands down, has to be, and it's not popular with everybody, but it has to be A Day in the Life, because it tells a poignant, true story that people don't know. That's actually a true story. That song, and it's on Pepper. It's on Pepper. It's Sgt. Pepper. I love the Pepper album.
That's
a lot of great songs in that. Yeah, I love Sgt. Pepper, Abbey Road. I love the Revolver album. I probably have all the Beatles albums. I have all the Beatles and all Elvis.
Yes,
I have them all.
I think mine. I mean, to stand alone, I'd have to go with John Lennon, though, the song "Imagine," because I just happened to.
I love Lennon as a solo artist. I love McCartney, but I'll tell you who I really like. Probably, and you're gonna laugh. I think George, as a solo artist, has them both beat. I really do.
Yeah.
He may not have sold as many records as John and Paul, and I'm sure he didn't. But for pure music quality, gotta go hands down with George. It's George.
Right.
And for vocal quality, because George has I want to say this, Phil, that George has a pureness to his voice.
Right, for sure.
He's got a purity to his voice, which I love. Amelia, tell everybody what's coming up.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to have on the 24th and 25th of this month, we're going to have a 2-show episode of The Shroud of Turin. We're going to bring that
2
back.
nights. Yeah, 2 nights.
And we're going to have Pastor Steve Kokowski coming back to both nights to talk about that as well.
Pastor Steve will be here to talk about the Shroud. 2 nights.
Yes, 2 nights.
We're going to do 2 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Tuesday, July 24th and 25th with Pastor Steve, our favorite reverend, because he's nuts like we are, and I love the guy.
Yeah, and let's see, and of course, also on the 31st and the 1st, we're just going to do a couple of reruns because somebody's going to need a vacation.
I got a couple of reruns scheduled because I'll be on vacation.
Yes.
But when we come back for vacation, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.
No, I think we'll be back with a little bit darker tan, I think.
I always say, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, because nothing is certain, nothing's guaranteed. You just got to pray and believe that God will get you through one day at a time. That's how we do it.
And August the 7th and 8th, we're going to have a night show again, but this is going to be of the Titanic.
The Titanic. Philip, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Did the Titanic really sink? What do you think?
I assume so.
You and billions of people around the world. Guess what if I told you, Phil? What if I told you that people believe the Titanic is still here and they know where it's at? What if I told you that the ship that sank was actually the Titanic's sister ship called the Olympic. It was beat down. It was a rundown ship, and they painted the name Titanic on it, and they painted the name Olympic on the Titanic. And why would they do that, you might ask yourself? To cash in the insurance money.
What about all the people? What'd they do with all the people?
They are collateral damage, brother. They sank with the iceberg.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That's crazy.
We got a show that's going to blow you away. Watch that show.
Watch that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, watch that show. And I'll tell you what, I am going to take care of you.
Yes.
Right after this. So we are going to leave you now, folks. It's been another hectic, beautiful, crazy week. We love you all. Join us every Monday and Tuesday for What's the Buzz, America's Best Podcast. Join me every week as I don't know how I do it. I put up with Amelia. I mean, I put up with you. I put up with me, Amelia, the Pitbull Chapman.
Wait a minute.
Listen, young lady.
Yes, sir. No.
Oh, I'm sure now. Listen to me. Folks, have a great week. We'll see you next time on What's the Buzz, America's Best.
Good night, everyone.
For Phil Schaffrin, for Amelia Pitbull Chapman, I'm Angelo, the Mad Dog DeCipio. We'll see you next time.